Hello, and this is the first episode of Down to the Wire. I'm host Ross Miller,
And Bryce Kamin here.
and so we're just going to be doing this podcast slash YouTube live thing going on. I know this one's not live. We just a bit of a practice and trying to get our feet under us for this, but we're going to be trying to do live, hopefully once or twice a week, talking about basketball, football, and baseball, and just our opinions, other people's opinions, and whatnot. So before we get into it, just a little bit about ourselves. I'm a freshman at the University of Delaware. I was a manager with the basketball team there, so I could definitely bring some stories into this that you guys definitely would love. I'm going to hope to maybe get a few guys on the team, and not even on the Delaware basketball team, just anyone else, just in for some interviews, and hope to have a good time here.
I go to Framingham State University. I play baseball, and hopefully, I can also get some people in that we can interview, some athletes at my school, and yeah.
And we're going to not try to limit it just to our schools and other athletes. We're just going to make it other athletes, any athletes who honestly can get. Even talking about people maybe in the recruiting process who are struggling right now because of what's going on with the coronavirus and whatnot. And it's definitely taking a toll on all of us. So we'd love to hear some stories. Um, anyway, we're going to get right into it for our first topic, and it's going to be the top five basketball players of all time. So I think we're just going to go in order from the bottom of our list to the top of our list. And I'm just going to talk about mine first. I'm going to mention it's Magic. Bryce, what about you?
At number five, I have Kobe.
All right. I feel like we're definitely going to have a few people on our list that are the same, but maybe in different spots. Why'd you put Kobe at five?
Um, I mean, during Kobe's whole career, he was what I think a 17 or 18 time All-Star,
Yeah.
and that's just incredible. That's almost his entire career. Um, He won five championships, all at the same team. He was loyal to the Lakers the entire time. Um, and just the whole, like, he was more than basketball. Um, obviously his stats are insane, but just if you look at the whole Mamba mentality thing, it's just insane to see someone like him who played their toughest game every single night. So that's why he's at five for me.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. You should be on this list definitely. I have him a little higher. And he was an 18-time All Star. Um, I don't know how much you could put loyalty into a top five all time because there's so many guys. I feel like loyalty just doesn't make sense there because you can have other guys who just haven't been on one team their whole career.
I
And
think it's harder to win that many championships though with one team, especially when your career is that long.
I could agree. Yeah,
So that's kind of why I put him there.
yeah. And my five, like I said, was Magic. I put him in just because I think he was the first guy, just like LeBron. They compare LeBron to him. I honestly think there's a lot of Giannis in or a lot of Magic in Giannis and a lot of LeBron in Giannis, obviously with the athleticism and being able to guard all positions. But just going back to Magic, he was the first guy to be able to guard all positions, play all positions easily without a even without a problem. 6'9", 215. It's a big frame. 12-time All Star, and I don't know. I think that he's a good candidate to put there. There's definitely some other guys maybe with some better accolades and whatnot. But I think Magic's you could put him right there. I think he's the best spot for number five.
I was
All right.
actually debating between Magic and Kobe for five. Um, I think it's definitely. I'll just say right now, Magic didn't make my top five, but I can definitely see why someone would put him top five because he was kind of like an innovative player. I don't
Yeah.
know if there's ever a point guard before him that was that tall and that could guard all positions. So yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to talk about loyalty, he was with the Lakers all that time, five-time champ, and you know what? He's a 12-time All Star, and he did take those 4 years off with the HIV.
Yeah.
And yeah, he comes back at 36. I mean, wasn't his best year, but he still was pretty damn good. And I mean, just throughout his career, I think even if he has his those 30 age 32, 33, 34, and 35 seasons, they could have won one or two more championships. So, I mean, you got to count what he was there for, but I feel like definitely like he could have more than five if he's there.
Yeah,
Especially you talk about with the one team. That'd have been pretty crazy. So, yeah. And then so number 4. All right, who'd you have, Bryce?
I put Wilt Chamberlain.
All right.
Uh, Honestly, I really don't think I see enough people talk about him being in their personal top three or even top five. Um, but he's up there for me because, I mean, he has some of the best career stats in the game, maybe the best. I mean, this guy got 50 points in like how many games and like I mean 20 rebounds at least almost every night. Um, it's near impossible to beat his stats. And two-time All-Star, unfortunately, that's kind of unfortunate for him considering how great he was. I feel like it would have been so awesome if he could win more than two championships. Um, but yeah, and he also had obviously a lot of All-Star appearances, so that's why he's at four for me.
All right. I had Shaq there at 4. Um, it was very difficult. There was a few other guys I definitely feel like I should have put on there. Wilt obviously being one of those guys, possibly. I just feel like there was a lot of those statistics that were just so they were just poofed up. They were, I think, more than what they were, and I think it's because you look at who he was playing. He was like the only 7 footer, only guy that tall, and I think he was just able to baby everyone in the paint and just dominate. And obviously, you want to give credit to where credit's due and give dominance, but I think Shaq is the better option because if you look, not only did he dominated in the '90s. It's a pretty big deal. The '90s was that cutthroat. Like we're gonna get right to
Yeah,
you, gonna make sure you're down, your feet are on the court, your knees are on the court, you're fighting for every loose ball, and that's why I feel like when you put a guy like Steph Curry in the top 10, it doesn't make sense to me because I don't think he could have done everything he's done now, like or now then. I mean, maybe Jerry West would be an example because he was a smaller guy, but I mean, for as far as Shaq, let me go back to Shaq because I keep getting off topic. Um, I just you look at the 3-time All Defensive team, the 14-time All NBA team. I mean, he was a 4-time champ, one less than a few of the other guys on the list, but it's just his dominance. He freaking broke backboards, and if again, we're looking at guys like Giannis. They call him the skinny Shaq, the small Shaq. Someone definitely had to be that dominant to be calling someone a mini Shaq. So clearly, if there's anything that Giannis is like Shaq, and I'm luckily even seeing Giannis play now. Shaq definitely
yeah,
fills that role, being top 5.
yeah. I think Shaq was a good pick. It's hard. It's hard to pick a top five. He didn't make mine either. I was strongly considering him. Obviously, four-time champ, like you said. Um, yeah, guys like him and Will and Giannis. I think when it comes to athleticism and I think they're just all in the same category as far as athleticism goes. Because I mean, those guys are once in a generation players when it comes to athleticism. I mean, they're all freaks of nature. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, Shaq's definitely a good pick.
and I think if you look too, like though he did win only 3 in LA, and then he had to win the one extra when he was kind of on the decline with Miami. I think if you look at his not only his stats, but just look at the contract he got. He set the tone on the new kind of free agent contracts where free agents were able to go in '96 when he got signed by the Lakers, and I think that's another key reason. Like, look, he was the first guy got a huge contract to go somewhere else. We don't see that for just any old player. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so going back to the list, number 3. Who you got number 3?
At number three, I have Bill Russell. Um, I feel like a lot of people don't even put him in the top three or top five also. Even myself, but I was thinking about it and I decided to put him number three because I mean, I know LeBron made eight straight finals, but Bill won eight straight, and he he made 11 finals in his career or
Um,
13, something like that.
he had a how many? Excuse me.
I think he made 13, right?
He was a 13-year career, All Star in 12 years, and he won 11 finals.
Yeah, 11 out
So,
of yeah,
I mean, that's dominant. And again, like
yeah,
another guy, I think he could have even been in the top five for me, and I just didn't think. And maybe he's someone I put over Shaq, but yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
I just
yeah, and he coached too. Didn't he coach while he was playing, which was insane
maybe
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see another person win eight straight finals as not only just winning eight straight, but because you can ride the bench and win eight straight, but he was the best player in each and every one of those finals. So
yeah,
he's top three for me because I don't know if we'll ever see someone dominate like that again, especially
yeah.
in the postseason.
And he averaged over 20 rebounds a game his
Yeah.
whole career, 22 and a half.
And he was
Yeah,
playing against a bunch of some of the greatest big men. Kareem, I
yeah.
think, right? Will even. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
if you look at his points, there's one year that he didn't have over 10 points. That was 9.9 his last year at age 34. So, I mean, if you look, he was another dominant guy, and
yeah.
I'm now maybe regretting I didn't put him in over Shaq, but definitely a guy worth putting there. And I put Kobe, um, R.I.P. Kobe.
R.I.P.
I mean, I feel like again, like another guy may have put a little too high. I'm again like maybe put him four, put Bill Russell three, like you did, but I just think Kobe like. And again, I know you always can't go by work ethic and loyalty. I'm going less with the loyalty part and more work ethic. Like that guy is the epitome of hard work. Like
Yeah.
you look at what he did, like all the stuff he did, how he carried himself, the confidence. I don't think he is where he is without his confidence, and I think that shows. Not many guys on this list, maybe other than Michael Jordan. I mean, all of them were confident, but you know, as far as pure, just he's 6'6", 212. Like he's not the biggest guy on this list, nor is he the smallest guy on this list. But to be able to do what he was able to do so dominantly, just I think for that stretch of time, and um, I just think that's really the true meaning of what it is great players. Towards the end, obviously, he did after showing injuries and starting maybe a little bit before the decline. Towards the beginning of the decline, he showed that he couldn't be by himself and he couldn't win by himself. But I think a lot of guys on each of these lists could say that they didn't couldn't win by themselves. Shaq couldn't win by himself. I feel
You
like
know.
um, Kobe. I just feel like as great as he was, he always needed that second piece. But a lot of guys are. So you can't really look at that and take that. You can't
Yeah.
take that. Well, yeah, you got to take that with a grain of salt because even LeBron needs his guys. Even Michael Jordan needs his guys. So
Yeah.
yeah. So and yeah, like you did say, the five-time NBA champ, all with one team. Yeah, and I don't think he lost in a final. He lose in the finals?
Did he make it? And who? I'm not sure.
Uh,
Who did the Celtics play in
yeah, he
2008?
did lose. Yeah, 2002,
Yeah. Yeah.
2003. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, he lost the next two in 2004 and 2008. So sorry, it was in 2002, 2003. Yeah. So and the last three appearances. So the 2008, 9, and 10, they were consecutive three in a row. Those
Yeah.
they were without Shaq. I mean, they did have Derek Fisher and other guys on that team.
Yeah.
Derek
Yeah.
Fisher,
No,
that
that
was that was prime Derek Fisher, man. Oh my God.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that,
remember when he coached the Knicks? Oh my
yeah.
God.
But no, I mean, he was a great player in his
Yeah,
prime.
it was. Yeah, that 2008, 2009, 2010 stretch, that was fun to watch. Just the Celtics Lakers rivalry was back, and
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
mean
started.
that three, that not even three, four. I like to count Rondo, that four-headed monster in Boston.
Yeah.
I think people overlook Rondo on that team.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think it was also because it was a younger part of his
Yeah,
career.
I
He
think
was
I think his prime started earlier than expected and ended early.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was. I mean, though he was an all star in some of those years, I think his true prime, I think, just had hit right as the team may have won that or been in that last finals. So
Yeah,
I think once the Miami LeBron era started, that's when his prime hit, and it ended
yeah,
pretty damn quick.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so number two, who you got?
I hate admitting this because even though he's a great player, a great person, for whatever reason, I always want to see him lose. I don't know why. I've just never been the biggest basketball fan of this person. But number two, I have to admit, he's great, LeBron.
People hate greatness in the moment, man. I'm telling you. Same shit with
Uh,
Steph
I
Curry.
I
Same stuff
liked
with
him.
Steph
I
Curry.
liked him in the first place, and then when he went to the Heat. I didn't like him, and then he went back to the Cavs, obviously, and he kind of I kind of liked him again, kind of. The Lakers, I don't even know. That was just a weird decision. But anyway, I mean, eight straight finals, won three of them. I think a lot of LeBron haters will take that away from him, the eight straight, because he lost more than half.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to win even four out of eight.
I think it's just because you're adjusting to new teams every time. So you gotta put that into account. So the first one, maybe Miami doesn't count, Cleveland doesn't count, just like that. So you two right off the bat, that makes them 3-6, or no,
Yeah,
three, yeah, 3 out of 6. So fifty
yeah.
percent.
And I mean, I, what, what was it? Like 1 year he didn't make the All-Star team, two at most.
Yeah, I mean he's a 16-time All Star.
Yeah,
The only year was his rookie year.
rookie year. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
and he actually just to help give you something. He's only there's been 2 seasons, other than this season, obviously, or where he hasn't played over 65 games. Or
yeah. And
yes,
last year with the first year with the Lakers, and right, and then something
yeah.
else.
The
Um,
first year with the Lakers in
and
55, and then
then
the one year with Miami, his second year when they started to do the sitting, he went at
yeah,
60.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So other than that, he was 70 plus or 69 plus. So.
yeah, no. LeBron, yeah, but not only that, but I mean, every single finals he's been in has been arguably one of the most iconic finals matchup ever. I I mean, I think you could rewatch any eight of those finals and you'll be completely entertained. Against the Warriors four times is just I mean, just knowing that they played each other four times in a row is just
Yeah.
very fun
Yeah.
to watch. Um, against the Mavericks and the Spurs. Obviously, I mean, I think maybe the Mavericks, uh, maybe that wasn't as exciting just because the
Excuse me, you're
Mavericks were kind
forgetting.
of underrated.
No, the Dirk was a god.
He
Dirk
was a
was an
guy, don't get me
absolute
wrong.
god.
I just think that
German
finals
Jesus.
I just think that finals is one. It's exciting. Don't get me wrong. It's just one of the least exciting ones out of the eight. Just because I don't know. I think people overlooked that Mavericks team even though they won. And then obviously the Spurs. Those finals are crazy.
Nah,
But
you overlooked it, and you think people overlook it because it was so great. It was so underwhelming. It was so great. That was what was so great about it. Dirk came in there and showed he is the man still. He showed who LeBron's daddy was that finals. And it clearly was not LeBron in that case. And I got to tell you, Dirk, I don't know much about him. I just never really followed him that much. I got into basketball right when he started to decline, but if I was looking at basketball 5 years before if I'm 24 instead of 19, I'm definitely looking at Dirk as my guy,
yeah,
man.
yeah, but yeah. Back to
Yeah.
LeBron. I mean, and he, he it's just incredible that he makes the number two spot because I, I mean he got better pretty much every single year of his career. I maybe this is just because I'm a hater, but I would argue that at one point in time, instead of LeBron, Kevin Durant became the best player in the league, and LeBron's prime kind of ended maybe 2, 3 years ago. Don't get me wrong, he still plays like he's in his prime. It's just that he's not. Um, Somehow it just gets better almost every year, arguably except for like the last two. But I mean, I feel like he started passing more once he got later into his career. I don't know. As a
Yeah.
kid, I just kind of viewed him as a ball hog,
Well,
and
if
then
you look, like there was people interview him and everything. They say that every single year, he goes into the offseason thinking of something he needs to improve on one
yeah,
thing. So
yeah,
the year he went to Miami, 3-point shooting. He
yeah,
went back to it when he went back to Cleveland, and
yeah.
yeah,
His 3 point shot got better too. That's right. But
yeah.
and I think his mentality is great too, because I mean, he's lost 5 finals, yet every year he comes into the next season seeking revenge. I love his mentality. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, he's an all-around great player. He works hard. I mean, he's leading the league in assists, I'm pretty sure, with 10.1, something like that.
This year,
I think so.
yeah, he's averaging as far as assist totals 10.6, and
Yeah.
it is yeah. I mean, career wise too, it's his highest ever.
Yeah,
So
it is.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but I mean, he can rebound. He's always averaged around 7, 8 rebounds a game. I'm pretty sure. Uh, I don't think he's had a single year where he's averaged under 20 points, which is absolutely insane. I mean,
I think except for his first year. Let me go back to look at that.
okay,
Yeah,
maybe.
points per game. No, you're right. Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
he hasn't. Yeah, 20.9 his first year.
yeah.
That was
I,
his
I
lowest.
really I don't know if he'll ever go a season under 20.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
he only average his highest is 31.4, and you talk about when you called him a ball hog as a kid. I mean, I think it's just one of those guys. Like again, like he doesn't need to be the guy dropping 40
it
points.
kind of had to be though the first time on the Cavs, so.
I see. I don't know about that because, like, if you look, he still wasn't the league leader every year. He was still in the middle of the pack. I
I,
mean, not the middle of the pack, towards the top. But
I
you look at a guy like Melo. You needed to bring
no,
him.
go
I'm
ahead.
just saying, just the Melo. Like he needed to be the leading scorer. They weren't going to win like that, but to bring him to the playoffs. So sorry, what were you going to say? I didn't-
Um. But yeah, no, I mean, no, I think you're kind of right about the first Cavs team. I mean, I think people look at that team and they go, "Oh, he had no help." But I think he had a little bit. I think people kind of underrated Varejao a little bit. Uh, there was one other player I can't remember who it was who I think people underrated. So I mean, I guess he had a little bit of help. It was kind of limited though. But um, yeah, I mean, LeBron's number two. I didn't even need to explain, but why
Yeah,
not anyway?
yeah. And just to back up your claim, 10.6. It is the highest this year.
Yeah.
Trey Young's in 9.3 right after him. I'm surprised. Just take a guess who's number three. Take a wild guess. And tell me
Luca?
how many. No, he's 8.7 at four. So
I
who's
thought
right in
Luca was
between?
8 point
Eight?
something.
No, eight. Yeah,
Oh,
8.7. 8.9 though. Number three. Take a wild guess.
is
You
it
would never
like not an expected one?
not. I would never expect it. I mean, I know he'd be up there. I would never expect it to be him though.
Westbrook? I don't know.
No, Ricky Rubio.
Ricky Rubio has always been a very good passer.
Oh no, he's always assist wise. Is yeah,
Maybe I
it's
guess at
great.
this point in his career is kind of surprising, but I'm happy to
No,
see that though.
not even at this point in his career. I just would never expect Ricky Rubio to be number three. I'd expect him to be.
Screw it. I'm all for it. Screw
Oh no, I'm
it.
buying it. I'm buying into the system. Just at that, like it just doesn't. I never would expect that. Yeah. Anyway, going back to our top
Yeah,
five.
you're number two.
Yeah, my number two is MJ. I mean, it's going to be either MJ or LeBron. I think I honestly, if I could, I'd just put both of them together. But I think if you look at LeBron's teams, even though he didn't win his first few years, and you can't take that into account. He had
Plus
no,
he's young.
yeah, he had old Shaq, young guy. What was the guys? Some of the guys he had.
Varejao,
Yeah, and he
the center.
didn't really have a lot of people. The only guy I can think of on that team was Varejao and maybe one other guy.
Yeah.
But just looking back at it, again, final stats may not be perfect, but You look at. I know MJ was so dominant. 6 out of 6 finals, all that. But and especially if he doesn't take that year off. But I think again another guy like MJ. Obviously, I feel like you put in now. He's a dominant guy. You put LeBron in now, a dominant guy. I think the NBA is a little softer, so I feel like he'd have to be more like LeBron. I mean, LeBron's though is very hard on his teammates. I think he's a little more laid back than MJ, and I don't know if MJ knows how to do that. Kobe though he was so his ethic was so pushed forward, like cutthroat. Same with Kevin Garnett. I feel like the way they acted and their style off the court, they were able to bring a team and keep a team around them. I think MJ would be much tougher now, and I think you'd want more control. Looking at guys like LeBron, and I don't think that would help too much if you look at how he's able to own the Hornets and be in control there. It's not working out too well. So they're not always the best judge of talent. So I think in the place he was at the time he was, it was perfect for him. Same with LeBron. I think it's you get put in the best position for yourself sometimes, and those two are
Yeah.
in the best positions. But yeah, and then I
And
feel like you just spoke about LeBron. I just spoke about MJ. I don't think we need to go into why
yeah,
in the
uh,
end.
I mean, yeah, I actually just had one more thing that I forgot. The scary thing about LeBron is he still has a decent chance at getting one, and maybe even more. But I think he has a decent chance to get maybe just one more ring. We'll see.
Oh, he'll have one or two, and I mean he may not be the best player on the team anymore, but he definitely will have one or two. I think having a guy like
Yeah, I
Davis who's young.
mean,
I, I mean, just let me say,
that
Davis.
helps. Yeah,
Yeah, Davis. He showed that he can carry the team to the playoffs with the Pelicans. I don't think he could be the number one guy on a team. I don't. I think he's one of the best in the league. Top.
probably not.
Hmm?
Sorry, he probably can't be the number one guy on the team unless he's surrounded by. I think maybe he could if he has like two other all-stars with him that aren't as good, but I
Or
don't
you
know.
put him around shooters. You literally
Yeah,
put him where Giannis is in the Bucks, and it may be just as good, if not better. So I feel like a team like that, then yeah, he definitely is. But I mean, I feel he won't ever be the top guy, and I think as Davis stays at this high level he's at, if not getting higher at even a higher level, I think if you look at a guy like LeBron, if LeBron even declines a little bit, that team's still damn good. And I think they'll just
yeah,
need to bring some more pieces around them. I think Kuzma could be the answer. I just don't think for this team. I think Kuzma's a great player.
yeah,
I just on this team it's tough. He has learned. He knows you could see he has defensively he's got better. But
yeah. He had a
yeah,
down year, but lately he's getting better. So,
yeah, it's not even
yeah,
a
well,
down year. I think it's just the team he's on. You can't.
yeah, it could be that too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Excuse me.
we'll see though. I mean, we'll see if he gets one more.
Oh,
I think there's probably right now there's probably four or five teams that I think can make or win the finals. It could be the Lakers within the next two. Well, this year, if I mean we'll see what happens because of the quarantine with the playoffs and all that. This year, I think it can be the Lakers. I think it could be the Clippers. At the beginning of the season, I thought maybe the Nuggets could, but I'm not so sure about that anymore. And the Bucks, I think, can all possibly win the finals this year. I think next year it'll be all those same teams, but plus the Nets because KD and Kyrie are going to be healthy. So then there's going to be five teams who can very likely win it. Um, so for that reason, it might be tough for LeBron because I mean, how often are that many teams that likely to win a championship? But we'll see.
yeah, and just some other teams to look out for. I don't know about next year. I mean, they're definitely if they had gotten Drummond, maybe a little different, but I you can't count out the Hawks, man. I think next year, if they can sign one guy, be able to keep Capella healthy, that team is going to be scary.
I
Yeah,
liked that they got Capella. I think that was a great pickup. Huge mistake by the Rockets. Great pickup for the Hawks. Um, Next year, I think they'll be a lot better. Considering how many games they won this year, I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but I'm very hopeful for them. I think their future is great. If not next year, at some point within the next few years, they're going to make the playoffs. I think the roster is going to get a lot better. I think they're going to draft well. I think they're going to have a really good team sooner or later.
I'm don't. I'm telling you, man. Don't count him out. If
I'm
Trey
not
was
counting him out.
if Trey was at where he is at this year, I'm jumping on that hype train that they could even be a finals contender by
I'm
next
not,
year.
I'm not counting
But
them out.
that
I just think that you
that
think they'll be more successful faster than I think they will.
and I think they even get more successful if they ended up getting Drummond over Capella. And I think the Cavaliers were just dumb to
Who knows if he
swore
wants to
that they
stay though?
Drummond with the he's he's
I
getting a max deal 5. Who wouldn't take that? Unless I don't think he
The
wants. I don't.
Cavs are absolute trash. The Hawks have a horrible record too. He's not. I don't think he's gonna stay at the Cavs.
Yeah, but where
So
where is he going to get that same money? He's the 5 year deal. If anything, it's better off he does a 5 year deal, and he works his way out of there. He just works it like look at again, like I was saying, with LeBron. You have so much control over where you want to go now. Davis was a perfect example last year. Just look at Davis and then say, "Hey, I want out after a year.
yeah,
Take another year.
yeah.
Still 26.
I
Come on."
mean, either way, it was great that the Hawks got better center because before then it was Alex Len.
Yeah, that
You don't
is.
want him to be your starting center. No disrespect to him, but um,
No, I mean he's a decent player. I just don't
I
know. Yeah,
I think whether it was Drummond or Capella, it would have been a great pickup either way for the Hawks.
yeah,
I feel like maybe I like Capella with them a little more, but either way, I think it would have been a great pickup for the Hawks. So.
yeah. I mean, we can go more into this and dive deeper in for when we have a segment with talking about teams on the rise or younger teams, or maybe we could talk about the bottom of the list this year. But we are going to go into our next segment now with our all our sidetracking. Um, but we're going to try to make these episodes about, I would say, 45 minutes. So we're at about 30 today. Maybe a little longer or shorter. I thought it'd be shorter today based on our first episode, but clearly, looks like we're talking a lot. So, um, all right, so we're just gonna go into it. Next one, if the NBA ended today, Well, the first thing is who would be spited out of the playoffs, and second, how would the playoffs be affected with players coming back from injury who may have not been there? And again, just before we go into this, you have to take into account DeMarcus Cousins definitely. I mean, he can come back and sprain his ankle right away or hurt his something wherever his foot. I don't know, but I mean, at this point, I have a freaking his brain will explode before he plays the court because he clearly can't stay healthy. But I don't know. But I think I don't know if how the rules going to be because you usually can't just sign someone for the playoffs unless it's the last day of the season, and technically the last day of the season would be now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So not taking guys signing like DeMarcus Cousins. Let's just go right into it with the teams now, who's hurt and who got spited. So I think if you look right off the bat, I think we were easily in agreement that for the teams that could have been spited, I mean the Pelicans started to drop off as far as win wise after they got hot when Zion came back.
Yeah.
If you look, it's the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, and the Grizzlies at the bottom of that. The Mavericks and up are definitely going to make it. They all have 40 plus wins. And if you look at teams in the Eastern Conference, I mean, the Wizards are like offensively like the best team in the league apparently, or one of the best offensive teams in the league as far.
Bradley Beal is carrying,
Yeah,
man.
they're no, just offensive efficiency in general. They're putting
Yeah.
up one of the most points in the league. So
I
I
think,
think
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
especially and two, John Wall, though they didn't say he'd be back this year. The NBA season starts late. He can come back. I mean, again, if you're just starting right into the playoffs, you won't be able to. But
I like John
or,
Wall, and I hope to God that he's as good as he was before the injury. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah, and the same again. The Hornets. I don't know. I mean, Devonte Graham has to be like next Trey Young
I
starting.
don't think the
Yeah,
Hornets did better this year than I thought they did. I thought they were going to be horrible.
no one expected Devonte Graham. So
I really I really thought that the Hornets would be arguably the worst team in the East, but they're in the 10th spot right now.
yeah,
Um, and I thought the Wizards were going to be absolutely horrible too, especially with John Wall injured. Even if he wasn't, I think they would be either near the bottom of the playoff race
yeah.
or slightly out of it.
But then again,
Um,
I- no, the only reason again points scored, but the problem is they're letting up the most
their
points.
their
One of the
defense
most
is
points.
horrible. Their
That's the
defense is
problem.
horrible.
So you're gonna score 115 points, but you're gonna
Yeah,
also give average or
yeah,
giving up 116.
yeah.
So
Yeah, honestly, I think the 8 spots in the East right now are locked. The Wizards are 5.5 games out, I don't know about that.
But again, I mean, depending if I feel like they'd be spited. I think they definitely would have a shot, but I mean, again, you'd have 16 games left, and now they're talking about to get the TV contract and the money, you want to go to at least 70 games. So that doesn't really help them much. There's only 5 games left in the season, so that would be locked. But I think as far as spiting, you can easily say the Pelicans, or not the, I don't even know about the Pelicans because of the way they were playing towards the end of that, but the Trailblazers definitely. Um,
Yeah.
but then again, now let's just go back into injuries. If you look at some of these teams, I, I don't know if the Jazz, I don't know if Mitchell's going to want to play with Gobert. He may just not play.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a few things about that. The latest news that I heard from that was actually that I can't remember if it was Rudy or Mitchell or maybe both. Kind of shut down the rumors or maybe or not shut them down, but they're true rumors, but it's just that they're kind of on better terms now. That's the latest news that I heard from that situation. Uh, you know, I don't know what you got from that, but I think I don't think there was like a clear explanation as to why Mitchell isn't getting along with Rudy. I don't know if it's because the inappropriate Corona thing or
Well, they had said the last I don't know when you heard about that last thing, but about a few days ago or a week ago, they were saying Mitchell doesn't want to be his teammate, and there's or not that he said that they said it's not repairable. It's going to be a working environment. It's going to be very cutthroat as far as just being able to work, get there, do your job, and leave. And I think that creates a problem. I don't think they'd be able to continue with both of them. And if you're the Jazz, you keep Mitchell, but at the same time
yeah.
no one else because you don't want Gobert on that team. And I swear, if the Knicks trade for Gobert and they don't even try for Mitchell, I, I gotta
I
tell you,
I I I don't think the Jazz want to trade him to the Knicks anyway. I think if you're the Jazz, you need to get a trade done where if you're gonna trade Rudy, obviously you trade him over Mitchell. If you're gonna trade Gobert, I I seriously think you need to get a center in return who, I mean, it's going to be hard to get a center who's as good as him in return, but you need to get someone who is like, even if they're just close to Rudy's level,
how about you
like
trade him
if,
to the Warriors and you try to get one of those top picks because they weren't too high on guys like Wiseman. You give up the whole farm system and Gobert, and you get the first pick and go for Wiseman. But
I
let's
mean,
let let's just because we both got our opinions off on that. Let's just get back to the playoff part. Let's
yeah,
say Mitchell doesn't want to play. Which is I don't know if it's possible. That could definitely be an issue. The Jazz at 4, something could happen. Guys, Jalen Brunson's out. He had the shoulder surgery. That's a big
yeah,
deal for the team like the Mavericks at 7. They're gonna have to play a team like the Nuggets in the first round. That could definitely be an issue if I mean, you want to give Luca a bit of a break. Jalen Brunson's your other guy.
either the Nuggets or the Clippers. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that's a possibility. I don't know if you look at teams like, and then again, like if Dame they end up going on a run at the end of the season, that definitely makes a difference for them. But guys, again, injured. Like we said, John Wall. Durant and Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie won't be back probably until October. They were saying, but definitely Kurt. Durant. He's almost a full year removed from that surgery.
yeah.
He could definitely come back and make a playoff push. But if Kyrie's not going to be back, what's the point? Um, the Pacers, Oladipo. Maybe he's been working out more, gets his feet under him a little more than he did even when he came back. That's
The
a big deal.
Pacers are gonna be a lot better since Oladipo is 100%. Yeah,
And but he still, it's different being on the court. It still took almost Gordon Hayward a year to get
yeah,
back on the court.
yeah.
Yeah, same Porzingis. It was freaking insane right away.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Tyler Harrow will be fully healthy. He's been on the fence of being hurt this whole season. Towards the end, you look at guys. It's insane. Some of this, it's just you got to look around, and I think there's a lot of teams that will have players that'll come back and be 100%. Ben Simmons and Embiid both tired all the time, always need the rest, put them out there at the same time, like it's the start of the season. Oh my God, I couldn't even
yeah,
imagine.
yeah. No, I feel bad for some of these teams who have injuries, like especially the Mavericks and the
Yeah.
Nets, because I mean, the Mavericks were starting off the season so hot. I think they're the beginning. I think they're anywhere between the 3 and the 5 seed, and then
Mm,
they dropped to 6, and then they dropped to 7. They're just behind the Rockets though, so maybe they can still get 6. Um, and I feel bad for the Nets, man. I thought even without KD, I thought they were gonna have a pretty decent season. I thought they would be top 6, top 5 in the playoff race. And then Kyrie gets injured, and even when he was healthy, for the most part,
yeah.
they weren't winning. So,
Yeah, and then
um,
and seeding's another big deal too. I mean, Western Conference seeding's there, here and there, but you know the Clippers and Lakers going to be Western Conference Finals. But if you look at like,
yeah,
if you look at like, I don't even know if we should talk about the Western Conference because we're a bit short for time here, and you know they're just easy one too. But if you look at the other side, the Heat and the Sixers. Honestly, if you get the Sixers to the top 4 or 5, they're in six right now. If you're in the 4 or 5, that I'm telling you, whoever has home court advantage for the 4 or 5 seed, if it's the Pacers, the Sixers Heat, they're winning. That's
yeah,
just how it's going to be. I mean,
that's yeah,
the Sixers Heat, whoever has home court advantage, if they end up playing each other in the playoffs. So
probably
that's a big deal. I just looking at some of that. Magic's a dump. I mean, like
the
just some of these
Magic.
teams.
That's a 4-0 sweep.
Yeah,
The Nets. I don't know. It's either a sweep or 5 game loss to the Raptors, obviously. Other
yeah.
than that, the East may be close between 3 and 6, 4 and 5.
If the Celtics play the Sixers first, that's it. I don't even think it's possible. I have
We'll
the
see.
Sixers are winning 2 games max. I think the Celtics again. Jason Tatum, watch again. Another guy like Young, watch that man. To
Tatum,
quote
a few
Stephen A.
years from
Smith,
now,
he is a bad man. I don't know if he's ever said it about Jason Tatum. I know he's brought him up, but Jason Tatum is a bad man. Okay, shout out to
he's
my
gonna
boy
be
Tony Monaco on Social Sports Hour. You know what I'm talking about.
Tatum's gonna be great.
Yeah,
He's gonna make the All-Star team multiple years in a row. Obviously his first was
yeah,
this year. It's gonna be multiple more in a row for the next coming years for him. Yeah.
yeah. So, all right, let's just call it there. I think we gave a good synopsis on this. But those are our first 2 segments. Basketball. I think we're probably looking forward. Dude, we talking mainly about basketball and baseball right now. Football, honestly, the only thing you could really be talking about
Off-season
is
stuff.
possibly the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you really want to look into it, where big boy Joey Burrow's going, and honestly, if the last thing is the Bucks with Tom Brady, and maybe we'll have a guest or two on, or some diehard Patriots fans who want to talk about that. But other than football,
I know too many, so that will be
yeah.
easy.
Besides football, I think we'll definitely just talk straight up about basketball and baseball for a little bit. Get those creative juices flowing on what's going on there, and yeah, so this has been Down to the Wire, April 16th. We will definitely give you an update. We'll be making an Instagram soon, and we'll definitely be giving you an update on when these shows will be and how specifically how long they'll be and whatnot. So, uh, again, I'm Ross Miller,
Bryce Kevin.
and we'll see you next time. Thanks.